on a lighter note, we are going to get to female hip hop personality. I don't call her a rapper. Um, I feel like that word is not appropriate for what she does personally, in my opinion. But Lotto made some interesting comments about rapping about her low body count. So, because these women really don't do anything but talk about sex in their music for the most part, one of the things that has made Lotto distinct from other female rappers is that she makes it a point to rap about how low her body count is. Now, one, if you are familiar with Lotto's music, this might come as a counterintuitive notion given the nature of her music. Her music tends to be pretty sexually charged. But according to her, she has a low body count and she is defending herself against talking about her low body count in her music. And there's people out there who don't believe her, and so she's defending herself against that. There's people who are saying you don't really have to talk about that in your music. You can talk about something else, and she's defending herself against that. And so there's just a whole lot of hoopla around this chick's, alleged sex life. So this says Lotto sparks intense debate over her decision to rap about her low body count. Typically, when rappers flex about their attractiveness towards the opposite sex, it's usually to show off how many people they have been with. But for Lotto, she's historically veered left of that tradition. On countless tracks, the Columbus, Ohio-born FemC has bragged about her low body count. She claims that she can count on one hand the number of guys she slept around with.
Oh, Lord.
However, as you could imagine, people have a hard time believing her. It could be for a few reasons, with one just being her status as a big-time artist. With that usually comes the predisposition that you are definitely having one-night stands left and right. Another reason could be that Lotto is just attractive to a lot of folks out there, which is usually a compliment more than a knock. But even though fans don't really bat an eye when it comes to those who talk constantly about their high body counts, a lot have an issue with Lotto boasting about the opposite. She's drawing some criticism from the internet right now, thanks to her staunchly defending her decision to do so. Lotto recently collaborated with rising streamer and content creator Ty Lil and discussed a myriad of things. While outside of a convenience store, they got on this subject. In the clip obtained by the Neighborhood Talk, Talil gets on Lotto and wonders why anyone would give a F about her low body count claim. Overall, the Sugar Honey Iced Tea creator feels that she has every right to, because it's her music. Overall, you really can't argue with that. Talil doesn't agree with the decision because it sounds like he thinks she's lying about it. Lotto hit back with saying as long as her still mystery man believes that, it doesn't matter what others think. This debate got the internet into an intense one as well, with some seeing no issue and others not buying in like Talil. I like Lotto, but her personality seems performative in this vid. One IG user writes, still don't believe her, LOL, another harshly states. So here is that exchange between these two. And here is her defending against rapping about, her low body count in her music.
Do you care how many bodies your girl got?
Nah, I don't know. I don't got nothing to do, man.
Okay.
What the fuck?
Okay.
That's what I'm saying. Why you always saying that in your music? That's little now. On my mother, now stop that now. Ojo, stop saying that, bro.
Stop saying what?
Why you always saying in your song how much bodies you got though? Who gives a fuck?
Whoever said? I said I have a low body count.
No,
That's
you always make it seem as if you could count your bodies on one hand.
I can
really
though. I can though.
But why does that matter though?
Same reason why bitches say, and fuck your nigga today and fuck that nigga tomorrow.
But listen, why does that?
But it's just like
listen.
It's true to her though.
Listen, why does
this is my music?
Listen,
if I go,
listen,
if I go in the booth and I rap my music, bitch, I'm gonna pop my real life. In real life, I got pop.
Listen, why does that matter? And it's up to us to believe.
Why do it matter that you got on Bottega on your feet?
Right,
it's your life.
You think they believe you?
I don't give a fuck if they believe me. My nigga believe me.
Listen. But I like you don't gotta say that though, cause like you lying.
I say my real life. I'm not lying.
I'm
not lying.
That's facts. Both.
Don't be mad. Don't be mad.
But so why you never say that?
Squeak clean. Don't be mad.
That's true.
If I'm famous as fuck, if I had more than that, these niggas would be popping out the woodworks. Oh God.
I hate the way these people. I hate the way these people talk. but whatever. I'm an old guy. So, what did you think about that? Are you buying the criticism? Are you buying the idea that she's not even telling the truth? What do you make of this situation with her even commenting on this in the first place?
You know, this is normally reserved for men. What I'm about to say, in the sense that, you know, the guy that's in the room, um, bragging about his body count, how much money he got, how much motion he has, you know, how much he'll, you know, whoop somebody, is normally the person that ain't about any of that. As Lil Wayne said, man, you know, real G's move in silence like lasagna. And if you really about that life, there's really no need to talk about it. Now, you can flex in your music, you know, if that's how you really feel about it, because if she traditionally talks about her low body count in her music, well, that is, you know, that is what that is. And that's a lot better than talking about having 3,000 bodies like our girl that we covered. Okay.
Yeah.
So that is better. Okay. But at the same time, for her to just randomly bring that up while they're doing their stream, asking him about, you know, his girl's body count, or, woo, you know, to me, that does come off, as the comment said, as performative. Why are you bringing that up now? You know, just so you can flex, or, you know, it's just weird. It's odd. So I typically don't believe that. Whenever somebody just volunteers information of that sort, I normally go, it's probably the opposite, or just not as true as they're trying to make me believe. Like, I don't need you to sell me that. There's some things that people are just walking around, and they don't have to sell it to you. You can already pick up that vibe and that energy. The vibe and the energy that she gives off is that she used to be a stripper, or walked the streets, or got flown out. That's the energy she gives me. So she has to tell people that it's the opposite, so they look at her differently.
Exactly.
So for her to be running around and always parading this is what makes me not believe it. If she really has a low body count, that transitions to her overall energy set. Last thing I'll say, like when they say in church and stuff like that, and like, oh, you know, when you know, you have premaritals with somebody, it's an energy exchange, and that is very true. It is an energy exchange. You are getting energy exchange. I mean, you're literally interlocking with another human. Okay. When that happens, you carry that with you. Okay. When you carry these bodies with you, they translate in how your eyes look, how you choose to dress, how you walk, you know, things that you choose to say, the profanity that you use, you know, if you're a woman, maybe even a man. All right. And it is literally on you. So it's you can have on the best clothes, just took a bath. It's in your vibration, it's in your energy set. It's what you give off. And what Latto gives off is that she done been, you know what I'm saying, clapped up a whole bunch of times by different people. Okay. More than one hand. So that's what her energy gives off. That's why the streets really don't believe it. So she can keep talking till she blue in the face, but I don't think many people are going to buy it. And so long as she feels good and she can sleep at night, I guess that's all that matters. But me personally, I am a gambling man, and I would pick the over on at least 5. I would pick over on that. 5.5, give me the over. But what are your thoughts, man, on Latto running around here saying that, hey, man, she's got a low body count, so low you can count her on one hand? You buying this, bro?
I want to give her the benefit of the doubt because I don't know her personally. What I'm finding it hard to give her the benefit of the doubt, however, because of her music, which is kind of what you alluded to. You know, I I process information conventionally. I kind of feel like if you're the type of person whose spirit is living life in a means that is going to render you to have a low body count, then I kind of feel like that same spirit would also cause you to make music that speaks in that same energy.
You would think, right?
Right. But she clearly doesn't make music in that same energy. So I'm just confused. And I don't know which it is. If she's telling the truth, shame on her, because why not live more in that energy through your art? And if she's lying and her body count is actually higher, shame on her, because she's living in that spirit where she has a high body count and thinks it's cool. Either way, shame on her as far as I'm concerned. I kind of feel like you, and this is what I've been saying, man. There's a general theme inherent in a lot of these topics that we discuss. Generally, people are who they are. Money and fame and notoriety only magnify your baseline human characteristics. So I am inclined to believe that the kind of person that she presents herself to be publicly, now that she's on in the celebrity sense, is who she's always been. And if she has a low body count, despite the fact that she behaves in the manner that she behaves, there are some deeper questions that we need to ask with respect to why feel the need to conform to that kind of behavior when you're not actually living in that energy. I don't understand that. She has definitely been indoctrinated underneath a particular form of social conditioning that would have her behaving that way, despite the fact that her sexual history, if true, suggests otherwise. And maybe that's a deeper layer that we need to peel back. But on the surface, I hear a lot of what you're saying, and I agree. It's interesting. I think the reason why you do talk like that, even though it's not really who you're about, is the same reason why a lot of the male rappers who are living in that um, low vibrational energy talk about how many people they've unalived or how many bricks they sell, even though they're not actually doing this. Because if they were actively doing it, they'd be in prison. See,
Agreed.
all the rappers who are rapping about it who were actively doing it eventually either got killed or are currently in prison. There are no exceptions to this. You don't just do this into perpetuity and continue to get away with it and make music about it. That's ridiculous. That doesn't make sense. Eventually, the banding up does occur. But they do it anyway because they have to live up to that moniker. But are they really living it like that for real? No, they're not. But that's what you have to kind of deal with and manage when you're in that space. And I guess now we're witnessing women who have to do the same thing. I guess now women are in that same low vibrational energy of leveraging sex and sexuality 24/7 through their music. So even if they're not actually doing it, they have to play it up and rap about it as if they are, because that's their place in this particular dynamic. So whereas the guys are doing the brick selling and the unaliving, even though they're not really living that life, the women are doing the body count talk. Whether they're living it or not, they have to play up the body count talk. And for her, why talk about your body count if it's actually low? I don't understand that. That's weird. It's like she's trying to have her cake and eat it too. It's like she's trying to take advantage of the female contribution of hip hop, which is sex and sexuality and sex appeal, but also trying to be above reproach somehow, because even though she talks about it, she is morally absolved because her body count is low. I don't understand it.
Mhm.
I don't know how you psychoanalyze that one. But to me, it's just a lot of word salad. I kind of feel like if you're really living in that high vibration of a traditionally low body count, then your music would speak to it. And it doesn't. So at the very least, I'm left to conclude that she is nothing more than a confused individual.
Yeah, her music would speak to it, or just her as a person. Every time I hear about Lotto, it's her wearing something scantily clad and clapping ass. And I'm sitting there scrolling looking for topics, and the topic whenever it's Lotto is that jaw-dropping picture, or
Yeah.
she's on stage, the internet's going crazy over her twerk session. Or I'm like,
Right.
man, what
Yeah.
kind of crap is this, man? Like that,
Yeah.
is that a story? Apparently it is. Now you can twerk, dress scantily clad, and all all of that stuff, and not be giving it up all the time. I guess. But again, bruh, when you're dealing with these charlatans, they like to live in the realm of plausible deniability. And the only thing that she's given here is, plausible deniability. All the guys that be coming out the woodwork, guys don't really do that.
They
Guys don't
don't.
come out and say, I clap that. I clap that. Guys don't do that. Girls will do that. Oh yeah, he in my DMs and all that stuff. That's what girls do. But guys, you know what I'm saying? If there's a guy right now that she's sneaking with that her man don't know about, he's not gonna come out. Why? He's gonna be clapping that into perpetuity.
Correct.
So long as he keep his mouth shut. So I can't go for this. All right, bruh. Bruh, I told you, bruh, like, I forgot what topic it was, man. I'm legit, bro. I'm like 19, I'm 20, you know what I'm saying? Running the wild streets of Miami, bruh. Meeting these girls that I'm like, hey, man, you know what I'm saying? Straight out of high school. Everybody's straight out of high school, man. I'm thinking that, everybody's fresh. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, hey, man, so what's up? I'm asking the dumb questions. Hey, man, how many, you know what I'm saying? How many dudes you done been with? Then I start realizing they all kept telling me 3. They all kept telling me 3, and they'll give me these nice little stories. And I'm like, how all these girls only had 3 guys? I'm like, what? Then I'm like, hey, man. Then we started doing stuff, and I'm like, there's no way this was 3 guys. Where did you learn this from? You know what I'm saying? So then it got to a point I was like, I don't think I want to know. I'm 19, 20, bro. I ain't want to know no more. I don't know how old Latto is, all right? But she done been around. You know what I'm saying? She done been around. It's probably been 5 this year. But I'm not going for a lifetime. I can't go for that. That's why I say I'll take the over. You know what I'm saying? I'll take the over on that. Put that on Prize Picks. You know what I'm saying? I'll take the over on that. Straight cash out. You know what I'm saying? So now I'm not buying this. I don't buy it whenever that information is volunteered.
Oh,
If I'm talking to somebody and we talking, I can gauge. You know what I'm saying? Not the exact number. I can gauge how much you've been in the game, how much you've been out here. And my thing is, if you out here, I don't want nothing to do with you. If you were in the game and you were just being a knucklehead yourself, or this and this and that, this happened, that happened, and it's like, okay, you was out here, you was messing around, but you know what I'm saying? You were messing around in a way where you were still trying to find something, then it's like, okay, well, that's whatever. I can mess with you because that's how my numbers is the way it is. But if there's a situation where you were just in the game, you let the whole football team hit it. You let the whole dorm hit it. You let all the frat dudes hit it. That person. You know what I'm saying? No shade if y'all out here watching. But I don't want to deal with that. Because that don't go nowhere. So yeah, man, I can't jive with that kind of energy set. And to me, Latto gives me that energy set that she done been in the game. So she could tell me one thing, but the plausible deniability thing is another thing, and I think she's playing that card, and I don't buy it.
yeah, I don't buy it either. And even if she is telling the truth, again, I lose tremendous respect for people who fake the funk. If that is the case, then why conform to a low vibrational form of art by essentially tonally making the kind of music which overtly suggests that you're about that life? Like, at the end of the day, I really do feel like we are who we are. And I think people who live on a high vibration, it's going to speak through their behavior and their actions and their decision making, which manifests itself in the way that they perform their job, in the way that they create art. Alicia Keys, for example, couldn't have made the kind of music that Latto makes. I don't think she isn't intrinsically built in such a way to make music like that because she's not cut from that cloth. She's more of a high vibration. So and that's not to equate their I'm not necessarily
I
trying
get
to
what you're saying.
compare their musical sensibilities
Mhm.
because Alicia Keys, she's a trained pianist. She's talented beyond measure. Lotto is just a hip hop star, as far as I'm concerned. So I'm not, so I'm not trying to compare them in that way. It's just to make the general point that the kind of music that you are going to make is going to speak to your essence as a human. And Lotto's music speaks to the essence of a human that has a high body count, not a low one. So even if she does have a low one, I lose respect for the fact that she makes music like that. Because I just don't respect the fact that you're going to make music like that, despite the fact that you aren't really like that. So it is what it is. I'm kind of with the guy, whoever this Tylil guy is. I
Yeah, man,
don't
I
know who
agree
that
with
is,
bro.
but I'm kind of with him. I'm just like, why even broach it in the first place? Like, it's like I said, it's like she's trying to live in two different worlds. She's trying to live in the world where she gets to conform to the tone of popularized female rap, but also be morally above board. Because even though I make music like this, y'all can't really criticize me or come for me because my body count is actually low. And it's like, no, you're not gonna have it both ways. Like you're not gonna have it both ways because people like me are just gonna call you out for being a liar and a deceiver, which doesn't really put you in any higher standing than a rap than any of these chicks who rap about the opposite of a low body count and are actually telling the truth about it.
Come on, man. Brittany Renner was saying she only had 30 something bodies. You know what I'm saying?
35, right? I think it was
Oh, man.
35.
Yeah, man. And then they played that clip for Boosie, and Boosie was like, you know what I'm saying, 35. He was like, I had to start multiplying. So if she's doing her thing, man, what she's saying is on one hand, then start multiplying, man. But not going for it. Can't buy this. I don't know who she's convincing with this, but it damn sure ain't me.
Well, you know what J. Cole said in that song? She said she only been with 4 or 5 dudes, so you got to multiply by 3.
Yeah, man.
Like that's been the general rule. Is the general rule, unwritten rule amongst men is whatever the number the woman gives you, multiply it by 3, and that's what the actual number
Come on,
is.
man. Because they do other things that circumvent the count. First of all, you're letting them do an audit on their own life. Let's go there. Let's go third party with this. Then on top of that, they omit people that don't count. If it was a one night, it don't count. If
They make up their own,
that guy was an asshole, so he don't count. No.
Yeah. They make up their own rules. They like I've met some who only count men who were either legitimate boyfriends or guys who they exclusively slept with for a prolonged period of time.
Thank you.
But they didn't define it. Like I've actually met women who told me they do that. Like they disregard the other ones and only count the ones that were actually defined, or it was like there was some exclusivity when it comes to that for a long period of time. And it's like, look, man, if he hit, it counts. You're not gonna fake the funk on that. So I don't know.
I was born in the morning, man, but I wasn't born this morning. I'll tell you that.
You're right. Yeah. I mean, like I said, even if she is telling the truth, I just don't like the fact that she's conforming to this. Like, then live in that spirit. Why live in a low spirit if you're not actually living in a why make music in a low spirit if you're not living in a low spirit? I can't respect it, but I don't respect most of these female rappers. So that's nothing new.
Unbelievable.